It's pretty cool. No, but it is a big property. Moana is beloved, and so I think it's a responsibility we both take pretty seriously, but also had a lot of fun with. We're both Moana fans. We love her, and I think part of us really wanted to make sure that we were protecting her, but also celebrating everything that we loved about her in the first film. When we started, I don't think we could have predicted the moments that we've been having in this last week, seeing everyone so excited about seeing the film. It's really amazing to know that the world loves her as much as we do.
Yeah, luckily we started out just really, tiny, and just you start off at the ground floor and you really just build it. And as we did that, we started hearing about how popular the film was on streaming, and so it just kept building and building. And what Dana said is so true. It all comes down to showing it to audiences. And so, like yesterday, it's such a privilege to actually say, "Here's the movie we made," and just know that audiences are in for a real treat.
I think it happened organically. Really, we started asking questions like, what happens the day after the first film? That's sort of where we started, and thinking about Moana having to go back to her island and actually become a leader, what that might look like. And it started to make sense that we would come back to her story a little while later. Not so long that she's changed completely, but just long enough that she's gotten her bearings and really understands her place in her community and in her world. Also long enough to introduce someone like a little sister, um, and part of that thinking was we love this idea that she knows exactly who she is, and we wanted to come in on the moment where that changes, because I think that's something we can all relate to as we're growing up. She's 19 years old. When I was 19, I was so sure I knew who I was, and then I am not the person that I was at 19 anymore today. And it really just helped us shape a story that could force Moana to grow and change in new ways.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of key elements. Obviously, music is such a huge part of this. So, starting off with finding an incredible music team between, Emily Bear and Abigail Barlow, bringing back Opataya Fawai and Mark Mancina, that was huge. I think the look and the beauty of the film, the natural beauty of this world is really important. And then there's that deep spiritual aspect, with the call from an ancestor. And those are really important elements that we knew we wanted from early on and really help, set you in a Moana movie.
I think for me, at least, it changes all the time. I just was listening to the soundtrack when I was working out the other day. I was like, oh, yeah, I actually really love that song, too. But I keep coming back to Beyond. I especially the end credits version. I can't stop blasting that.
Yeah.
I just love this idea that Emily and Abigail were able to capture what it feels like to know when you have to go off and do the right thing, knowing that it's not easy, it's not easy to leave home when you know that leaving home means leaving behind the people that you love the most. And it just feels like a mature exploration and after how far I'll go. She's really growing up, but she still hasn't changed fundamentally who she is.
Yeah, and for me, I'm going to go completely the opposite route and go for a huge showstopper, which I love, which is Can I Get a Chihu? I love this pump-up aspect to this song. I love that it's Maui giving something back to Moana, and I love their relationship. I love that we take it to new places. They care for each other in such a deep friendship, and we really have a lot of fun with that in that song. So for me, it's Can I Get a Chihu?
Well, we really felt very strongly that Pua should not be on the canoe, but fans told us otherwise.
Yeah, we got a lot of angry letters about that one. You know what? It's really that scene from the first film of Moana interacting with the ocean. There's just something so special about that moment that we wanted to make sure in this film that we were true to, and we use it, for a variety of different ways. It really is about the connection between Moana and Simea in this film. So I definitely think that's such a huge part of this film, is that incredible connection with the ocean.
And I would say, just to add to that, there are so many, people ask us about Easter eggs all the time, and I think the biggest Easter eggs are actually homages to the first film. There's a lot of love given to that first film, but then sometimes we do it in ways, if you're paying attention, that show what you've seen in the first film in a new light. So it's everything from shot by shot reconstruction to just taking new characters like the Kakamora and giving them new layers and new depth. I really think that there's a lot for everyone who loves the first film.
Well, I mean, I think luckily in this one, and in life, you actually continue to discover more about yourself. So we actually really wanted to continue that for Moana. She made such an incredible declaration of "I am Moana" in the first film that actually can change as you grow up, or as you change, or as new things come into your life. So that's something you can sing about too. It's a really important part of a musical. It's something that you can actually, has such power within you that you need to sing, and that's that idea of continuing self-discovery, as Grandma Tala says, you never stop choosing who you are, is something that I think is such an important part of this film, but also connects it to the first film.
Absolutely. We're so fortunate that we get to work with the Oceanic Cultural Trust that they started on the first film, led by Cliko Hurley on this film. It really is comprised of experts from across the Pacific. And so in crafting this story and figuring out what the best journey for Moana to go on would be, we spent a lot of time talking to them. I mean, really throughout the entire process. And so much of what happens in this film is directly inspired by these people. But we also, do all kinds of research. And there are a lot of examples of islands throughout the Pacific at the time when Pacific Islanders were actually navigating and discovering these islands, where there were places where people would come together from all different islands, and there were these meeting points. There's one in Tahiti in particular that I know we all found really inspiring, this idea that there would be a place where all the people of the ocean could come together and Moana could build a bigger community than she had before. And it's little nuggets like that that really sparked so much creativity and really inspired so much of our crew. And I'm so grateful that we had that opportunity to talk to all those people and do all that research, because while the mythology within our film is very much specific to Moana's universe, it is all inspired by the real stories of the Pacific. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of them. I'm sure I'm about to take Dana's answer. We actually had a chance to meet with Nainoa Thompson, the head of the Polynesian Voyaging Society. I'm taking it.
No, it's ours.
It's ours.
This is a community project. But it is my favorite story to tell, and I'll judge him later.
Yes,
But no,
exactly.
Go ahead.
But he's an incredible modern day navigator. It's a resurgence of the traditional ways of navigating. And so he knows where he's at, like by looking at the stars, by the ocean, by the sun. So he always knows where he is. But he told us an incredible story about being lost in storms, and you basically can't do anything about it, and you have to just sort of give into what the storm is actually just doing to you. And he's told us this incredible moment, which is getting lost is the pathway to magic. And so someone who's a master navigator that always knows where they are, for him to say it's important to actually get lost was so inspiring to us. Obviously, we used that in the film. It was just an incredible moment. We all just had chicken skin or goosebumps when he was telling us this, because he felt so connected to the story we were telling, and it just was this amazing moment of coming together with talking to him. It was incredible.
I think she's a character that is always growing and changing, and we love her so much. Hard to think of anything else right now other than going to the theaters and seeing it this next week. But we love Moana very much, and we're really, really proud of this film and can't wait for everyone to see it on the biggest screens possible. Oh, I think that there's so much humor, and it's such a celebration of Pacific Islander cultures. I just really hope I'm stealing Jason's answer now. I really hope people have a good time,
Yeah.
and that they go on this adventure with Moana. We heard early on some feedback in an early screening. Someone said, this film feels like going on a new adventure with an old friend. And I hope that that's how people feel when they walk out of the theaters this Friday.
We all feel the same. I'm so excited about the end of this film, actually. We've been teasing a lot of like what the beginning of this film is, but there's so much more in store for audiences. So I'm so excited for people to actually, see the ending, see what the culmination of this story is that we've been crafting. So I'm so excited for that. And just, I got to add in the music. The music is incredible. I am so proud I listen to the soundtrack all the time. Apparently it's just on repeat in my room too. So the music and then the ending.